Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Rundown on A2DRadio.com. I am Zach Burr, Ralph Delavecchio, third man.
Sean Watson.
At the table today, Sean Watson, the new third man in on the team, and we're excited. And wow, geez, Ralph, me and you were at the Spartan Holiday Classic yesterday at Doane Academy, my alma mater, right down the street from where we're at. And I'm in the midst of doing, 4 games, play-by-play for 4 games, back-to-back-to-back. Finally get done the Doane and Lenape championship game, which turned out to be more of, instead of it being a championship matchup, the officials decided it 12 minutes in, and that was a whole heck of a lot of fun to call. And I come home thinking, all right, I need to calm down. Yeah. I need something to, relax me. I'm mad. I'm livid. Doane just got cheated out of a victory by these officials, and I come home to the news.
Yep.
As I turn on my TV, breaking news, no matter where you look, Chip Kelly has been fired as Eagles head coach. And as you could see, if you've watched our Facebook page at a2dradio.com all day today and all of our social media platforms, you'll see the big thing, the headline that we're trying to discuss. Did Chip Kelly's power move preseason, when he got given full control by Jeffrey Lurie, is that ultimately what now has led to his firing?
Yes.
Sean, not wasting any time, he says yes.
I don't know, dude.
I think he should have got one more year, though.
One more year.
Well,
yep.
and that's what makes this so. There's so many different angles and dynamics to this story. One, I think there's so much more to it than just what we have at this point, that there was a meeting between Jeffrey Lurie and Chip Kelly, and that Jeffrey Lurie wanted to strip Kelly of full control of personnel. Still be my head coach, but you're no longer the GM. You don't have control of personnel anymore. And according to Sal Paolantonio of ESPN, that meeting didn't go well. Kelly had balked at the idea by Lurie to strip him of personnel, so therefore they just split, and now he was out the door.
Well, you already know where Chip Kelly's going.
Well, we'll get into that. We'll get into that a little bit later.
He's going with his boy.
That's very intriguing, too.
But the thing is, we could have actually got a draft pick out of the deal.
Well, exactly.
Lurie completely panicked, and he says, you know what, I think Lurie – because you got to look at it like this, fellas. Things got a little bad. Right now, Chip Kelly, his whole entire career, his statistics right now is 26-20. The guy got 26 wins in 3 years. Yeah, did he take over from, a 4-12 team, Andy Reid? I got that. But I think that he should have got one more
year. He went 10 and 10. He went 10-6 2 years.
Yeah.
And now since he has a bad year, everybody's like, "Oh my God, fire Chip Kelly. Let's get him out of town." But you didn't say that about Andy Reid his first 3 years with the Eagles, right?
Well,
until he got Donovan McNabb.
Well, see, when Chip first came in, we were talking about him changing the league, right? Changing the league. He's changing the way you play football in this league a lot, like Obie at Obie's Catering, who's changing the world one dish at a time. You like the segue, Ralph, don't you? I know you love it. Changing the world one dish at a time at Obie's Catering. That's our sponsor, always here at the Rundown every single day. Changing the world one dish at a time. You can contact Chris O'Brien, 856-534-8410. Email him, cateringbyobie@yahoo.com. Tell him Tom Arnone sent you, and you'll get 20% off. And he's got a new Facebook page. Follow him at Catering by Obie as well on Facebook.
Listen, Chip Kelly did change the league. He did with the up-tempo. And when we sat here, it was week 2. We sat here, and I told you, wow, I was watching the Seattle and Bears game, and the Bears were going up-tempo.
Right.
The Bears were a huddle team. Let's get in the huddle. Jay Cutler says something to go up to the line, but no, it was up-tempo. Chip Kelly did change the league, and I think he should have stayed around for one more year.
The defensive coordinators in this league are too good. Once they got film on Chip Kelly and they figured out his tempo, as soon as you look at that first game ever as a Philadelphia Eagles head coach. The Eagles, everyone went crazy when against the Washington Redskins when they were running up the score. I think it was a 28-0. I think at halftime. They ran 80 to 80 plays.
They had Michael Vick that year, right?
Well, no, that was
Yeah, they had Michael Vick, Deshaun Jackson first play. Remember,
first pass.
It was the first pass. It was
a
fly route. Yes,
Deshaun.
And he beat
Foles that ended up taking over later into that first
but
year.
he wound up beating LaRon Landry because before the game they were talking smack.
Yeah.
And LaRon Landry got his jockstrap back at the 40-yard line.
Yeah. Well,
that was the first play of the game.
And that's interesting because that was when everybody around it's so complicated. It's this new thing, and it's really not complicated, as we've come to learn.
It's basically
it was simple, but it was just really fast.
It's basically a handful of plays, and it's
a handful of plays. but they just come at you really, really super quick.
Yep.
They run it extremely up-tempo, and they just change up the look constantly. They might flip it and have this guy on this side. One time they run the play and then have it completely flip to the other side the next time they run it. But once the defense is figured out.
6 plays all season, and like we talked about earlier, fellas, each wide receiver, say we have Aguilar running a button hook.
Yep.
Okay. Well, next down, Aguilar's going to run a slant. Ertz is going to run the button hook. It's just vice versa. 6 plays, but each wide receiver runs different routes. Obviously we didn't see too many fly patterns because none of our wide receivers can get separations.
Yeah.
We don't have that.
You need that big wide receiver, and I think that's what Chip Kelly lost.
Yes.
Well,
he lost that big time, and I think that's what hurt him as a coach.
I think, in a lot of ways, as we try to get back to the top, the exact topic at hand that we wanted, the power move topic, him taking over full control of personnel, in a lot of ways, I guess you can't say that's it has to be the reason he got fired. You can't say that, that had nothing to do. No, obviously it had something to do with it.
It had something to do with it, but I don't think.
I think that's unfair to come from the perspective of, he had full control of personnel. So he makes the power move. He wants full control of personnel. That's a move that if you're going to make and give the Chip Kelly, you either fully commit to it or you don't make it. So once he got full control of personnel from Jeffrey Lurie at that point has to be fully committed to that decision. And making this move 1 year into giving him full control.
He did it too soon.
Means that you are not fully committed to that decision, and at some point you got cold feet.
And I'll tell you where Chip Kelly made a mistake too. Hiring Bill Davis.
Yes.
Okay? And we talk, like I said, I keep talking about this. The formations that he tries to outsmart everyone.
That 3-4-4.
Or the 3-4-4. Right, that I always talk about. When you have a guy like Fletcher Cox that is a stud, he's getting, double teamed on every time he's coming around. You're having
he's
three guys.
He's a 4-3 defensive.
Exactly,
defensive
but you're having 3 guys blitz,
right.
And then you're having a guy, like Kirk Cousins now, that's picking you apart. Everyone was focused, okay, Deshaun Jackson. How about Reed? They're just going to keep on going tight end. Okay, we're going to mix it up and we'll go Pierre Garçon. You know what I mean? Deshaun Jackson was non-factor because we were keying up on him, and all they kept on stretching the field 6-7 yards per game right down the field. It killed the Eagles.
The personnel thing, I think as you look at it, if we try to break it down and look at it as the year went on, right? Billy Davis is something, that comes down to personnel at the end of the day.
Yep.
And if Chip's in charge of personnel, me and you talked about it, Ralph, on this show back-to-back weeks. That's Chip's call on whether or not Billy Davis will remain here as defensive coordinator.
And he shouldn't be here. He shouldn't be here.
Chip could have stood up at any point.
He should have been the first
one to go. And made that decision and said, hey, Billy Davis, you're fired as my defensive coordinator. Yeah. So from that perspective, I think maybe decisions, or in this case, a lack of a decision from Chip's part in the personnel department, you can say things like that maybe ultimately led to this decision by Jeffrey Lurie. Jeffrey Lurie's looking at it from his owner's box saying, look at our defense. We've got way too much talent on that defense to be getting boat raced by Jameis Winston and Matthew Stafford in back-to-back weeks. Yet Chip, I would hope I put him in charge of personnel, would say, hey, this is unacceptable. I need to make a change. And there was no change made.
That's Billy Davis should have been the first one to go. Billy Davis should have went yesterday.
And me and you agreed on that way back when coming out of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But maybe that's part of this, and maybe this is what Lurie's talking about with the personnel thing, and maybe this is what we're talking about as far as is the power move, him taking personnel. Is this what cost him the job? Ultimately, was he a terrible GM? I guess it depends on who you ask. Me and you sat here and said, no, he made some good moves. I'm sure he made some bad moves. Every GM does. But he made some good moves. But I think the inconsistencies that came with him being in charge of personnel, and especially as the year went along, maybe the lack of adjustments in certain areas, you know what I mean? Things like that, maybe you could say, from that perspective, that is what ends up costing him the job. If I'm going to put you in charge of personnel, I need to be able to trust that you're going to make the right personnel decisions. He made some good ones, he made some bad ones, but maybe the vital ones, the really important ones that he didn't make are the moves that ultimately come back.
Listen, though, I think the biggest one that he made a mistake was Macklin.
I think it was Deshaun Jackson. That's just my opinion. Well, but both of them.
But you got to remember, but the Jackson thing, he still wasn't in full control at that time. You know what I mean? So you don't. Yeah, I'm sure. Obviously, Chip had some say in that, but that was you. can't just put that all on Chip. That has to be viewed as a group effort at that time.
But Chip comes
because there
out
was
and
multiple
says
people
he
answering.
came out and when he released Deshaun Jackson, and I was
With the
actually
gang
I was
thing, right?
But I was in Florida, but that came out. NewJersey.com
Yeah.
came out and they reported Deshaun Jackson was tied into the gang. But hey, how about this? This is what I'm really upset about. All right. Number one, you let him go and you got nothing for a two-time first-team All-Pro. You got nothing for him.
And
you can't do that, fellas.
And me and Ralph were talking pre-show as you had left the room for a minute, and that was the big. I said, getting rid of Deshaun Jackson was not the big mistake. The big mistake was getting rid of Deshaun Jackson in the fashion that you did.
Yeah. For a bag of chips,
think
for nothing.
about this. Listen,
you really got nothing
Deshaun Jackson's coming off his best year in his NFL career.
Yep.
Okay? He had some good years under Andy Reid here. But under the Chip Kelly system, as up-tempo as it was, at as many plays as we ran, he caught more passes than any other year in his career.
Yep.
He had more yards receiving than any other year in his
You know why?
career.
Because of the other wide receiver, and that was Jeremy Maclin.
Okay, there's probably a lot of factors that played into it. But the bottom line is his stock had never been higher than it was at that moment. So to not get anything for him, you probably could have fleeced somebody for a first-round pick.
And I'm going to tell you another thing that would happen. When you have a guy, Riley Cooper, that I mean, he was on the bench for, 5 years? And all of a sudden, Deshaun Jackson's right there, and Deshaun Jackson's getting double coverage, and Riley Cooper's getting over, 1,000 yards receiving that year. Yeah. And then they give him a 5-year, $25 million extension, which how many yards he got this year? What, 600?
Yeah, he's.
I mean, the guy's horrible. He has no separation.
And even though that deal was made when other guys like Howie Roseman still had power, you get the feeling that was a Chip move. More so than you do on the idea of what we talked about before with the Deshaun Jackson thing. Because what does Chip always talk about with
the big, tall wide receivers that can block?
He can block.
I know that. Yeah.
He can block. And listen,
Chip doesn't care if you catch the ball. If you can block, you're good. You're good to go.
I think Chip is a great football mind. You want to talk about him running an offense? Yeah, that he can do
in college.
Well,
football mind in college. It's different from the pros.
I disagree with that. He's got a football mind for the NFL. But if you're talking about him running a program, he's got the mind to run a program at the college level. He's got the mind to run an offense at the NFL level.
I think he's an offensive coordinator somewhere else. I don't think he's a head coach no more.
Well, listen, I don't disagree with that. I don't necessarily disagree with that. But we all were trying to find as much information as we could on this last night. I heard it. I'm sure you heard it. Anybody that was paying attention to all the major media heard it. There's 3 or 4 teams in the NFL as we speak that are interested in bringing him in as their head coach.
And Chip Kelly needs to understand. This has to be a learning curve for him.
Yes.
He has to change his ways of saying, look, he has to adjust to the NFL level and saying, look, I can't run like I did in Oregon. Yeah. I can't run. These guys are paid athletes. These guys get paid millions of dollars. I can't go and just say, oh, well, it's my way or the highway.
Right.
There's the door right there. See you guys later. It can't be run that way. It just cannot be run. These guys already did 4 years of college, and not for nothing, but there's a lot of guys that that still don't make the NFL that are in Oregon or whatever like that. There might be a group of guys that had the opportunity to be in the NFL.
If Josh Huff don't play at Oregon, he ain't in the NFL.
Oh, no doubt.
He's not.
Well, how about that? Let's turn it to this a little bit with the Jeffrey Lurie angle of it, because here's all the things Jeffrey Lurie had to say. He had a press conference earlier to address all this. He talks about the Eagles sinking the mediocrity. We take steps back instead of steps forward. All these things, to me, it sounded like he's throwing Chip Kelly under the bus.
Yeah, he shouldn't do that.
When you're the guy that put him in that position to begin with. Mm-hmm. Throw yourself under the bus. Yeah, it didn't work out, but you're the one that gave him that power.
I still can't believe that they let him go after 2 10-6 seasons.
And that's now we're getting into
now, how about the time when Chip Kelly threw Deuce Staley under the bus in Carolina after Ryan Matthews had 6 carries for 97 yards and 121 yards receiving against a top 5 rated defense. 14-1 right now, and
should be.
And it was Maxwell. Maxwell picked the ball off. The Eagles were down by, I believe they were down by 6 at the time.
Yeah.
It was first from the 12-yard line, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, they're going to bring Ryan in. Here we go. Here's 6 points right here. Yeah. And Ryan didn't get one snap after that. He only had 6 carries the whole entire game. And then it was asked by Howard Eskin. Howard Eskin came out and asked Chip, "Hey Chip, don't you know that that Ryan Matthews gets to the edge a lot faster?" Oh, well, maybe that's on you. Maybe you think that way, Howard. No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's how he runs. He gets in between the tackles. He gets faster on the edges. And DeMarco Murray, we all know. Look, he had a great year last year. I'm not knocking the guy. The guy had over 1,800 yards. I mean, just look at his offense line. I mean, you look at Joseph Randle. Joseph Randle this year, fellas, before he was released. I mean, he had a hat trick basically. He had 3 touchdowns in a game.
Forget about Joseph Randle. Let's bring Darren McFadden into that conversation because he's a better example.
And he runs all over the place.
He was done.
But exactly? But they bring him in here, and all of a sudden, he's running all over the place. I actually think they could bring me in with that Dallas Cowboys offensive line. I could run all over the place.
And they could bring back Emmitt Smith. He can add back to his rushing title.
And exactly. I mean, it's absolutely insane right now, fellas.
I think it was too early. I don't like Jeffrey Lurie at this point right now because I think he pulled the trigger way too soon.
Well, see,
way too soon.
Now we're getting to the heart of the issue, right? Because Jeffrey Lurie's talking about, I guess his main point is he felt that Chip's tenure here was inconsistent. There was too many inconsistencies. If I'm going to paraphrase what his whole press conference was, he talks about the Eagles sinking the mediocrity and that type of stuff. Okay, so you're saying it was inconsistent. We should have taken more steps forward and we took more steps back. Well, here's what I don't get about this whole thing. The way that Jeffrey Lurie's handled it has been inconsistent. So I think the heart of the problem now that we're getting to is what's led to this. There's just too many inconsistencies involved with that franchise at the moment.
I think the fans got to Jeffrey Lurie than anything.
Well, there you go. So that's a perfect example, right? The fact that Lurie's listening to the fans, listening to the players, listening to this side of it, listening to that side of it.
Well, how is he listening to fans? You want to know how he's listening to fans? They're getting up at halftime, and the whole entire stadium's leaving. You know what I mean? Before the third quarter, they're all saying, you know what? I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to freeze. I'm not going to have rain on me. This is ridiculous. We're down by 17 points or even worse. I mean, you look at the Eagles. I can't even justify this, but they had 90 points scored on them in 2 games against 2 lousy teams. Lousy.
Well,
Jameis Winston, and I think he surprised me, but I thought he was completely overrated. I thought he was going to be the next DeMarcus Russell, to tell you guys the truth.
Well, he's smarter than Jamarcus Russell.
But I'm just saying, 5 touchdown passes, fellas, in our stadium. Whatever happened to, the old, smash mouth football the Eagles used to play? I mean, we don't have it no more.
I don't think Chip Kelly's power moves cost him the job. I think he lost the locker room at one point when they were what? They were what? 1-3 at one point. I think when DeMarco Murray wasn't getting his carries, and I think that's when when DeMarco Murray sat on the plane with Jeffrey Lurie and started making up the whole blowing everything up on ESPN. And honestly, the power moves didn't hurt Chip Kelly. Listen, you bring in Sam Bradford, a guy that hasn't played football in 2 years because of 2 ACL tears. You really think he's going to lead a team to a 12-4 team? I mean, me and you sat here and thought
you know what?
And you know
what? And if he doesn't get injured in that Dolphins game, let's not try to sit here and
win.
kill ourselves.
We win that game.
There's a lot of Bradford haters out there.
I'm
by the time we got where we're at now in this season, Bradford has played well, very well over the last 8 or 9 weeks
because he's got comfortable with the scheme. He's got comfortable.
You
with
get to week 9 or week 10. And he was really, really, really starting to groove in this system.
Yeah.
He was really looking good.
The Patriots game is when he really opened up to us and was like, wow, this guy is really that first-round draft pick that the Rams got.
Yeah, let's freeze it right there because when we come back, I want to get into kind of what you taught him losing the locker room because that's all part of this. Now, you say it's not power moves. I disagree with that a little bit because I feel like in some ways, his moves and the moves that he's made and being in charge of personnel has helped lead to him losing the locker room. So we're going to dive into that when we come back. This is the Rundown on A2DRadio.com. We're brought to you by Legends Tap, the best pizza this side of the Delaware, 318 High Street in Burlington, New Jersey, 609-386-3001. You can give them a call. You can follow them on Facebook at Legends Tap.
You're listening to the worldwide leader of Real Talk, A2DRadio.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by Romeo's Termite and Pest Control. Family owned and operated, Romeo's only employs the safest, most effective methods to rectify your situation. Whether it's at your house or at your commercial residence, no matter what the concern may be, they'll get the job done. Raccoons, squirrels, bed bugs, termites, you name it, they'll take care of it. Satisfaction guaranteed. Give them a call at 856-341-3927 or look them up on Facebook at Romeo's Pest Control or visit their website at www.romeospestcontrol.com, your local pest control provider. A2DRadio.com is sponsored by Martino Roofing. With more than 15 years of roofing experience, they have all the services that you need, whether it's new construction, tear-offs, replacements, or re-roofs for your residential or commercial business. They will provide a detailed service in a timely and professional manner. So you can give them a call for a free consultation at 609-792-5103. Send them an email at martinoroofing@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.martinoroofingllc.com. The number again is 609-792-5103. Martino Roofing.
This is Tom Arnone, owner and founder of HUDRadio.com. What if I told you I knew the best caterer in the business? Well, I'm not going to lie to you. It's Obie's Catering. You can contact Obie's Catering at cateringbyobie@yahoo.com or give Chris O'Brien a call at 856-534-8410. From graduations to wedding rehearsals to just if you need food cooked in your house. He'll do it all. He's trying to change the world one dish at a time. That's Obie's Catering. Chris O'Brien, 856-534-8410. Tell him Tommy A from HUDRadio.com sent you, and you'll get 20% off.
HUDRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300. or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
You're listening to The Rundown, only on A2DRadio.com.
This is the Rundown on A2DRadio.com. We're live in the Kingsgate Realty Studios. If you're interested in buying, selling, or renting a house, go to Kingsgate Realty at 57 West Kings Highway in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. Give Patrick Bokikio a call, 856-931-1200. The Eagles and Jeffrey Lurie, they're making tons of phone calls at the moment, boys, because according to Jeffrey Lurie, one of the reasons he made this move now was because they wanted to get
The head
a head start on interviewing young coordinators.
You didn't need to get a head start. The only head start you needed to get was the defensive coordinator.
Yep.
I still can't believe Chip's gone.
Who do you guys want defensive coordinator come on for the future? I'm going to say Dick LeBeau. That's who I want.
Oh.
Dick
That's a good-
LeBeau. That's
Anybody
my
not-
pick right now.
Anybody not named Billy Davis? I mean,
Any,
at this point,
anybody
like-
not named Billy Davis and a person that doesn't go 3-4-4.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
I
take it.
agree. Well, I'm going to tell you, Dick LeBeau, man, he'll bring back the old
Jim
smash
Johnson,
Jim
yup.
Johnson. Yup.
That's what we need.
Yo, Dick LeBeau know how to win Super
I'd take
Bowls.
Jim
too.
Haslett or a guy like that at this point. Like to give me I want an experienced defensive coordinator.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And by experienced, I don't mean Billy Davis, who sucked everywhere he went before he came here and still sucked here.
Yeah.
That's not experience. That just means you've proven to me you suck.
And I'm not taking a shot towards the Cleveland Browns, but I don't want another defensive coordinator coming out of Cleveland like Billy Davis did.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
come
know?
on, man. They've been. I mean, they've
Defense
been
only Cleveland's only got one
Yo,
good defensive
20
back, and that's number
20
23.
years.
That's Joe Hayden.
Let me tell you something. After Detroit, I went to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, spent some time there, went to Cleveland for a night. I mean, that is just an absolute depressed city. I mean, the only thing that
But you can't blame them.
they have statues of LeBron James all around the city. That's
can't-
the only thing they have.
You can't blame them. I mean, the story of Cleveland Browns football is what happened in that game against Baltimore.
Yeah.
That's the story of Cleveland Browns football. We're winning against a crappy football team. Baltimore's just as crappy as we are. Let's have them block a field goal at the end and return it 90 yards for a touchdown to win.
Baltimore also has 2 Super Bowl rings in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you know,
Did you see the video after
you
that
talk about
happened?
well-structured organizations. There you go.
yeah.
Did you see the fans after that happened? The video on Facebook. Did you-
Oh yeah, you know,
with the,
this is
fa-
just
the
a
guy
mess up
ripping,
in- yeah,
the guy
yeah.
ripping his jersey.
Going Hulk
He's like,
Hogan on the Browns
I
jersey.
can't
up-
stand the Browns.
Yeah, I hate the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
We hate this Eagles team at the
I
moment.
can't stand. I can't
We
stand
hate
Jeffrey
Jeffrey Lurie.
Yup, that's the guy I
And
can't stand right now.
Before the break, you talked about how you felt Chip had lost the locker room, and
Yeah.
that's what cost him his job more than the power moves or him being in full control of personnel. Now, I want to take it back to something we talked about in that first 20 minutes. We're going to bring it all the way back to the Riley Cooper extension. After Chip Kelly's first year and how we addressed, even though Howie Roseman was still technically GM or whatever at that time, that had all, I mean, you could smell the Chip Kelly identification all over that signing. That's a Chip Kelly signing. Take what he is as a player out of it. And I'll just say this personally. I've got tons of black friends, tons of people I graduated with high school. Some of my closest friends in my life, somebody I call a brother in my
Kenny
life,
Chesney
is black.
concert. Yep.
You know, from that perspective alone, the fact that and this is coming from me. If I'm a head coach, at that point I have to cut ties.
Yeah.
There's no questions asked. I have to cut ties. Why? Because you're gonna get what you're going to get, a divided locker room.
Yes.
And for the rest of that year, there was a very divided locker room. And thank God Michael Vick was there because he's the guy that played mediator in that whole situation.
What was it? 2 days after they had practice, right? And Riley Cooper fought somebody. Who did he fight? He fought.
He got in a fight with who's the guy that's now in Seattle that stunk? Kerry Williams. Kerry Williams got in a fight in practice, and Kerry Williams.
And
it was related
and
to
not for
that.
Nothing, And not for nothing, but you saw the character comes out of LaShawn McCoy. LaShawn McCoy made a big issue out of that. He says,
Exactly.
I'm not talking to him. I'm not talking. Well, you know, you look at LaShawn McCoy. I mean, I don't want to change subject on him, but okay, the bad tipping.
Yeah.
Okay, the 20-cent tip. Okay, the LaShawn McCoy incident that happened. Let me in the middle of the cold. I'm going to drop off my, his baby's mom or his girlfriend or whatever. Dropped her off in the middle of the cold.
Well, off the bus.
Right.
Right.
I mean, you look at the character with him. I mean, we didn't have really good character, and a lot of people are, LaShawn, best, running back of Eagles history and everything else.
He's got
but
a big
you know
head.
something? You know something? We don't want a guy like that in the locker room.
No.
Well, but all that comes back. This
To
is this is
Riley
all
Cooper.
first.
Yep.
Well, it comes back to Riley Cooper,
Yep.
but it also comes back to the fact that, and this maybe this is maybe part of what Jeffrey Lurie's talking about for why he got rid of Chip Kelly. I didn't necessarily ever 100% believe this. I mean, obviously there was some truth to it in certain situations, but there was people that were very, very adamant that Chip had no idea how to manage certain personalities, and I think in
that's
a lot
where
of ways,
he lost the locker room.
Well, and that's why I agree with you. His inability, and this is why I bring it back to us talking about why I say if he's going to be in full charge, full control of a franchise or a program, that's where he belongs at college.
Right.
Because he doesn't understand, or maybe, hopefully, as you said, hopefully he takes this and he understands a little bit more now, and he uses this as a learning experience to understand the way you manage personalities at the NFL level is different than how you manage personalities in college.
Yeah. And not for nothing, fellas, but talent always wins over the culture, the scheme. Talent. You need talent.
Well,
okay, the Hall of
yes.
Famers win Super Bowls. You need talent on your roster.
Culture comes with talent. talent helps build culture. For example, the Seahawks and the culture that they now have out there.
Yeah.
Okay?
The Seahawks
that
were
culture
what?
doesn't get built without Earl Thomas and the Legion of Boom and the talent that's in that defensive
And they're all
secondary.
late-round
For what?
draft picks.
For what?
The Earl
5 years, Seattle was what, a 2-14 team,
You know?
until they started getting defense, and then landed Russell Wilson in the draft, and look at them now.
The culture out there is they'll punch you in the mouth type of
Yeah,
defense.
and
but that's
Richard
not
Sherman,
because they try to install
Richard Sherman,
that.
six-round draft pick.
Yeah, from Stanford.
You got
Yeah.
Cam Chancellor, 5th-round
Yeah.
draft pick. I mean, these
and then
guys
he was
are
in the
stud
Canadian
players.
Football League after
Oh,
that.
I know.
And then and then because he had a marijuana issue at Oregon State, we're gonna.
And like I
send
told
him
you
to the
earlier,
Canadian Football League.
in 2010, and I'm going to do a shout out to my buddy John Brenner. He was high on this. John came out and said, Earl Thomas is the pick. Earl Thomas. At 14, Earl Thomas is the pick. And, he texted me and said, Sean, we just got Earl Thomas. We're up right now. We're on the clock. I said, I know. All of a sudden, Brandon Graham.
Yeah.
Okay?
And his first 2 seasons, he didn't do anything for the Eagles.
Yeah, he's an okay player, right? But Earl Thomas, fellas. I mean, here's an all-pro. I mean, how many?
Stick him in the safety, and then have Brian. If the Eagles are smart, they bring in Brian Dawkins as a motivator for the defense, or a defensive backs coach. You gotta have somebody to motivate them.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a good point, and we got to take a break for station identification. We'll address that on the other side.
You're listening to A2D Radio. A2D Radio. A2D Radio. At A2DRadio.com.
Ralph, you make a great point. As right before we go to station identification, you were talking about, that this team didn't have a leader.
It didn't have a leader.
Malcolm Jenkins is maybe the closest thing that this team had to a leader. He's been the most vocal, leader on this team.
Malcolm Jenkins
since
is
he's
like
gotten
that,
here.
somewhat of a prototype of Brian Dawkins.
Well, what about D'Amico Ryan, fellas? We're missing him.
D'Amico Ryan's...
You're the biggest loss. Here it is. The biggest loss of the Philadelphia Eagles this year was that middle linebacker Jordan Hicks.
Yep, I agree.
Biggest loss
he would have
this
been.
year.
He would have been defensive rookie of the year.
Yes,
see,
he would.
but
And he
that's-
would have made Pro Bowl his first year. I bet. I
But that's my
put
point.
money on that.
When we talk about did Chip Kelly, the personnel guy, fail Chip Kelly, the head coach, and that's why moves like that. That's that's. Yes, but then no, because it's not necessarily the moves, the free agent signing, or that's not necessarily those things.
Yeah.
I think that cost him because those are personnel decisions too, obviously. And a guy like Jordan Hicks, that's a great draft pick.
And I think
round.
Chip Kelly. Listen, I much rather saw Chip Kelly focus on Chip Kelly head coach instead of Chip Kelly, general manager.
Right.
Chip Kelly, have all full control.
Right.
I mean, you gotta have that. You gotta be focused.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Bill Belichick. Let me ask you guys a question. All right, for him to come out and say, throwing Deuce Staley under the bus and saying, and then Howard Essen come out and saying, yo, how come Ryan Matthews only got 6 carries in Carolina, and him coming out, oh, I didn't know he only got 6 carries. Oh, well, Deuce is the one that rotates the running backs. Okay, so you're throwing Deuce Staley under the bus. Listen,
One of the
let
greatest
me ask
running
you-
backs the
and,
Eagles ever
and
had.
let me ask you fellas a question. You're going to sit there and tell me a genius like Bill Belichick is not going to know what's happening every down, every second of his game?
Bill
Belichick is
on CBS and Fox. You see people next to Bill Belichick talking in his ear. You don't think
he's a genius. He's a genius.
You don't think people
and now
say
we've circled back to the heart of the issue once again, right?
Yeah.
This is what it comes down to. And I think I don't know if inconsistencies is the right word, but that's the word I'm using at the moment because I can't think of a better word. There's inconsistencies surrounding this from so many so many angles.
they pulled the trigger too soon,
Well,
Zach.
there's an
They did.
inconsistency,
They
right?
did.
First of all, it's an inconsistency based on what we know about Jeffrey Lurie, his track record.
Yeah.
He's not Al Davis. He's not the guy with the quick trigger finger that's firing guys 2.5 years into a tenure.
Listen, we give Chip Kelly one more year. We win the division next year, dude.
Here we go with blind predictions again.
I'm
Ralph.
telling you.
All right, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you my scenario.
Zach and Sean. All right, you're at St. Louis, right? And you're under center your whole entire career. Then you get traded to Philadelphia and you're a shotgun. You think you're gonna have a good career? You think you're gonna have a good first year learning the whole system? I don't think you are. You're gonna be DeMarco Murray running the power run all day. I don't think you're gonna have as much success as you were gonna
my
in
scenario.
Philadelphia.
This is my scenario that can change all around, and this is where I think if I was Jeffrey Lurie and I had the mind that I would try to do, I would go and see if I can get Sean Payton first of all. Okay. Sean Payton I know Drew Brees is thinking about he was going to opt out, okay? So you take, and I know this for a fact, fellas, I'm going to tell you. In San Diego, in the offseason, Zach Ertz, Drew Brees, Ryan Matthews, Mark Sanchez, they all went to San Diego, and they all had training. They had OTAs. They had, well, it was actually in the middle of OTAs.
Like a private training session.
Yeah, they all went there in San Diego, and they all played. All I can tell you is this. What's the common denominator? Drew Brees around some Eagles players? Now, I don't want to read into this, but, I mean, it was in the Inquirer. It was in the Daily News Live.
Yeah.
It really happened.
See,
okay?
I see where you're going with
but
this.
what
So-
I'm
so-
saying
so
is
your
you
idea
bring in
is that
Sean
will come and
Payton.
he might follow.
Sean Payton got the job done. Now, you want chemistry in the locker room? Who came from the New Orleans Saints? Malcolm Jenkins, your guy's leader, okay? Darren Sproles. Killed us in the freaking playoff round, in the wild card round.
Yeah, he did.
Darren Sproles came in. Now you're going to have Sean Payton. You can have Drew Brees, a Hall of Fame quarterback that won a Super Bowl. Okay,
4,000
and
yards
then
in, what, 10 years?
And then you go out and you get Dick LeBeau as your defensive coordinator. There is a Super Bowl coming to Philadelphia. I'm just telling you, that is my dream scenario right now. If you had to tell me, I'm doing that right now. And this Eagles team will win a Super Bowl with that scenario in the next 5 years. That's all I'm saying.
Now, do you take the shot with Drew Brees being what? He was 36,
I don't
37
care
years
what
old.
he is.
Yeah,
He's an outstanding quarterback. I want him right now.
Well, yeah.
Listen, you get. How
I
about
don't
that?
know.
I like that scenario, and you throw money to Calvin. You got to get a superstar wide receiver.
We're getting a little off the rails here. Okay?
You got to throw
We're getting
money.
excited.
Yeah,
we're getting
we're
excited.
getting a little off the rails. We're gonna address and get into the Eagles' future and how we want them to go forward. That's gonna be the final 20 minutes. But for the time being, we're still, look, here's a report I'm reading right now. Okay, this is off of Bleeding Green Nation. Jeff McClain, an Eagles insider. Chip Kelly had virtually no allies at the NovaCare complex and then lost Jeffrey Lurie. He was tolerated when he won, but he endeared himself to no one. So if you're endearing yourself to nobody, now this is an Eagles insider. Okay, I'll trust him more than I'll trust my own opinion. We knew, this is no secret. I mean, it was split. We had those people in that, in the NovaCare, we felt, we're Chip Kelly supporters that didn't mind playing for him, liked him as a coach. Then we obviously knew there was people that were very, very negative of Chip Kelly and were a detractor. But let's get back to this main topic at hand, okay? Because we're talking about whether the personnel moves, any of that, whether this is what cost him the job. If one person on that team involved with that franchise, if Chip Kelly's lost one person, for whatever reason it might be, whether it's personnel decisions,
the owner.
Well, okay, but to Lurie's point, we're giving Lurie a hard time about it. But if Lurie honestly feels like Chip has lost that many people throughout his complex, can you really blame Jeffrey Lurie for reacting this way? Jeffrey Lurie probably felt handcuffed if he's saying, listen, if I've got this many people that are my guys in my complex telling me, listen, he doesn't have a lot of supporters here. Maybe he felt forced into making a move.
I'm keeping him, though. Keeping him.
Now,
though,
what
Zach.
I talk about with the inconsistencies from before, from all different angles, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, if that's the case, that's the case, and I get it. Jeffrey Lurie was
But that's
listening.
when Jeffrey Lurie's got to stand
I'll
up.
let you respond for a minute, because that's what I'm getting to, okay? If Jeffrey Lurie's listening to people who are telling him throughout his complex, hey, this is the case, this is the case, this is the case, and that's how he based his decision, okay, fine. At least we know why he made his decision. But that doesn't mean that that's acceptable for that's the reason why he made that decision. This is your football team. This needs to be your decision. Was this your decision?
Or somebody
Or was
else's.
this a decision that was influenced by all the people around you
And the fans.
that that you
That was
say
part of it.
I trust?
That was part of it.
Okay, well that concerns me though. But that really concerns me because you're the guy that's writing the paychecks. Everybody answers to you, okay? Lurie's the top guy. So for me that really concerns me is I don't want to I hate throwing this word around because it's one you don't want to start this type of rumor and this type of thing going on unless it's really the case.
Okay.
But this really concerns me and it's getting me to the thought of a lack of institutional control from Jeffrey Lurie. You're no longer trusting yourself and have confidence in yourself to make these decisions. So
He's
now
starting
you've
to
got to
listen
listen
to
to
the fan.
fans.
Yup.
You've got to listen to this person in the complex. You've got to listen to the janitor who's in every room of that complex who's saying, hey, every room I've ever been in when Chip Kelly's been there with this team, he doesn't have a lot of supporters. Who's making this decision? Because I feel like there's too many hands on that red button, the calling for the termination. When you've got 10 fingers pushing that button at one time, that's not good.
I'll tell
They
you.
pulled the trigger. He pulled the trigger too soon. He should have stood up and said, you know what, guys? I know what you're going through. Give the guy one more year.
Well,
I got
see,
something for you
and
guys.
that's a great transition.
In 18 years as a Philadelphia Eagles owner, Jeffrey Lurie, There's only been one time that's been reported that he didn't stick around for the whole game. You know what that was?
This year.
Last game.
Yeah.
Okay? Jeffrey Lurie got up out of his press box, like Jerry Jones, and left. All right? There's not one in 18 years, fellas, 18 years, he left with disgrace, disgruntled, saying, there has to be change. He left. He left out of his press box against the Redskins because he was disgusted.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Before we go to break, because Ralph, that was a great transition you're talking about as far as we take the concerns that we now have with Jeffrey Lurie as far as how much control he really has over this whole thing, and we're going to talk when we come back from break as far as how you go forward now if you are Jeffrey Lurie with this team. But one more thing before we go to break. This is from Jason LaCanfora of CBS Sports, okay? Here's a report that he gives. He says Jeffrey Lurie didn't go into this, and this is back to the point I'm talking about as far as Jeffrey Lurie, who's making this decision? Is this your decision? Is this decision that you let multiple people influence you on? This is what I don't understand about it. If you're going to make this decision, be committed to it. The report here from LaCanfora says that Lurie didn't go into his meeting with Kelly with the intention of firing him, but only that he wanted to take his temperature and continue to feel him out and gather information that was going to end up leading to his ultimate decision. Mm-hmm. You go into a meeting with a guy without any intentions. So what the hell are you holding a meeting to be? What the hell's the point of the meeting?
Yeah.
You don't have the intentions of firing a guy, yet when the meeting's over, the guy's now fired. So what the hell changed in the 10 minutes?
I actually think he had this planned, man. I really do.
Well,
I truly do.
like,
And he didn't let any of the
plan,
none of the players knew about it.
So either he
no,
had the plan.
they didn't know about it until it blew up on Twitter and Facebook.
So either this was his plan, and obviously insiders of all around NFL circles just weren't aware of it, or it really is what we're talking about, is that Jeffrey Lurie is losing control of this whole thing, has no idea what he even wants to do. He's listening to so many people from so many different angles.
Because he's listening to everybody that's saying negative things.
He's going into a meeting with his head coach without the intentions of firing him, and then decides 10 minutes into that meeting,
do you think
I'm going to let him go.
think Joe Banner comes back now?
Listen, nothing would surprise me at this point. We'll address all that when we come back on the other side of the break. This is The Rundown on A2DRadio.com. We're brought to you by Martino Roofing, with more than 15 years of roofing experience, proudly serving Seoul, New Jersey, as well as Pennsylvania, Delaware, and the entire South Jersey area. Call 609-792-5103 to get in touch with them.
You're listening to the worldwide leader of Real Talk, A2DRadio.com.
This is Tom Arnone, owner and operator of A2DRadio.com and host of Agree to Disagree. If I want to go check out a ball game, there's no better place than the Philly Sports Bar located 31 South Black Horse Pike in Runnymede, New Jersey. With over 40 plasma and HD TVs, a brick oven, a two-story deck, the sports bar has surpassed everyone's expectations. From the one-of-a-kind sports memorabilia to life-size sports figures, the bar stays true to its name. The Philly Sports Bar will provide quality service along with outstanding variety of the finest liquors and well-known beers in a family-friendly environment while remaining true to what they are, the best darn sports bar. That's the Philly Sports Bar, located in Runnymede, New Jersey.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300. 3300 or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Hey guys, Rob Hovia here from Fantasy Dominance Now in the Hockey Happy Hour with a quick question. Are you in need of a professional home improvement? Then contact Harry's Contracting, 609-638-6336. That's 609-638-6336. No job too big, no job too small. The owner, Harry Ernst, is a fully licensed general contractor. Tile work, bathroom and kitchen remodeling, and just about everything else. No matter what you need, Harry will leave your home looking as beautiful as ever. Harry's Contracting offers free estimates, and if you mention A2D Radio during the estimate, Harry will give you 15% off the quote. Give him the job, tack on another 5% for a total of 20% savings off his already insane low prices. So contact Harry's Contracting today, 609-638-6336, or email harryscontractimprovements@gmail.com. Harry's Contracting, insane home improvements.
The Rundown, only on A2DRadio.com.
Now it's the rundown on A2DRadio.com. As I tried to come in as our sweeper was playing, and that wasn't going to do anybody any good. You couldn't hear me. Well, maybe that's good, depending on who you are.
Yeah.
The less you hear me, maybe the better off you are. I don't know.
Probably.
I've probably made a lot of enemies with all the play-by-play I've done. Probably at least a few people out there that think my voice is annoying at this standpoint. The rundown on A2DRadio.com were brought to you by Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Call 856-889-3434. We want to transition into the Eagles' future going forward. After us, the Philly Sports Fix is coming on with Ryan Brodo, Frank Vespi, Jay Sellner, Noah Eaton, and that whole crew. I'm sure that show's going to be full of shenanigans as well after everything that's going on in the
I'll
past
be chiming in because I want to hear Noah.
24 hours. Specifically, Mr. Eaton, I'm sure he's going to be he's going to have some things to say.
Yeah.
And, they're going to be talking about Sam Bradford's future here in Philadelphia. And then later tonight on Tom and Mike AM in the PM, they're talking about the next head coach for the Eagles and who their leading head coaching candidates are. So figured give a little preview, obviously, for what you're going to hear later on A2DRadio.com. We'll break into that, and give our thoughts on what we feel like the Eagles should do going forward. Sean, I know you're very passionate about this. You've been wanting to break it down since the beginning of the show.
Yes, sir.
Here's your moment. Go.
All right, my future scenario, that is my dream that I think we can win a Super Bowl in the next 5 years, and I mentioned to you guys earlier, is bringing Dick LeBeau as a defensive coordinator. Of course, I think Billy Davis should have been long gone. But bringing Dick LeBeau.
He should have been going after the Tampa Bay game.
Yeah, and
at least after
I told you,
Thanksgiving.
and I mentioned you guys earlier that the players in the off season, OTA, in between the OTAs and training camp, they go to San Diego, and you had Drew Brees warming with Ryan Matthews, Darren Sproles,
Zach
Ertz. I think that could be a connection there. I know I'm reading this, and I know I'm hoping, and I know I'm praying, and I know this is a dream scenario for me. But within the next 5 years, I think the Eagles could get it done. I know Drew Brees is 38, 37 years old. I know he's an older quarterback, but
he's still slinging the ball around.
He's a future Hall of Fame quarterback. Okay, that got the job done. I think you bring in Sean Payton with Drew Brees, okay? You already have Malcolm Jenkins, which is the leader on your team, your defense. He came from New Orleans. You have a little chemistry connection right there. You have Darren Sproles that used to play with the New Orleans Saints, so he has, familiar face with that. And then you're just adding a smash-mouth defense because Dick LeBeau drafts so good. The Pittsburgh Steelers draft so good, and you're bringing Dick LeBeau in there.
Imagine him
God.
with Fletcher Cox.
Oh, my God. That would be
and Connor Barwin. No more 3-4-4.
But right, no more 3-4-4, right? But you're going to draft well because the Giants draft well, the Pittsburgh Steelers draft well. These teams been drafting well for years, and Dick LeBeau is a part of that, and he's just a defensive-minded defensive coordinator. And I just think that we go that option. I don't know if Lurie's going to be thinking about that, but I know I'm reaching a little bit with the whole Drew Brees thing because he worked out in the offseason with some Eagles players. But still, do I like Sam Bradford? I do. Do I think he's an elite quarterback? No, I do not. But I think with a good offensive line, I think that he has potential. And he's getting better. I think Sam Bradford right now, I would keep him for 1 year. But if you can reach and get Drew Brees, I would go and do that. I would go all
Drew Brees
out
for 2 years?
I would right now do it. Right now. Drew Brees with Sean Payton, with Darren Sproles, with Malcolm Jenkins.
Yeah.
And
chemistry's already right there.
And then you bring in Dick LeBeau. I mean, there is Sean Watson's dream scenario right now with Chip Kelly out there. But it's a dream, like I said.
It's not a bad idea. And I mean, obviously, if you could make it happen, I'm sure we'd all be on board with it. Probably, that's more, like you said, it's more of a dream scenario than it is realistic at the moment.
Right.
But it's not out of the question. We got to take one more break here on A2DRadio.com. The Rundown was sponsored by Harry's Contracting for professional home improvement. You can give Harry Ernst a call at 609-638-6336. Email him at harryscontractingimprovements@gmail.com.
Welcome in to the worldwide leader of what? Real talk, A2DRadio.com.
This is Head, your dude with the tunes from A to Z classic rock. When I'm hungry and in the mood for pizza or killer sandwich, I head to Legends Tap, located at 318 High Street in Burlington, New Jersey. Pleasant atmosphere, delicious pizza, kickin' sandwiches, great iced tea, soda, or if you prefer an adult beverage, they have that also. 318 High Street, Burlington, New Jersey, Legends Tap, the best pizza this side of the Delaware.
Hey, if you're interested in buying, selling, or renting a house, call Kingsgate Realty at 856-931-1200. Ask for Patrick Bocchicchio or visit their website at kingsgatere.com, located at 57 West Kings Highway, Mount Ephraim, New Jersey.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by The Sports Outlet, located at 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. With over 40 years of customer experience giving the latest in uniforms and equipment to sports enthusiasts of baseball, softball, football, basketball, hockey, soccer, and much more. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or send them an email at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit their website at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all of your sporting needs.
You're listening to The Rundown, only on A2DRadio.com.
This is The Rundown on A2DRadio.com, brought to you by Romeo's Termite and Pest Control, your local pest control provider, family-owned and operated business, 856-341-3927. Visit their website, romeospestcontrol.com. We're kicking around possible head coaching candidates. I know, we'll go a little round table here. We'll just throw out some ideas. Ralph,
Dan
Sean.
Quinn!
How's that going to happen? He's already a head coach somewhere else. How's that going to happen?
I'm messing around.
But here, I do want to throw out this name for you, Sean, because you brought up your dream scenario with a guy like Drew Brees. I got a close personal friend of mine with my family. Actually dates my cousin. They've been going out for 4 or 5 years now, and he's a heavy Eagles fan at all the games. He talked about when we were at Christmas dinner over the holidays, and we talked about the idea that as far as out in Atlanta and what's going on out there, now as a sports nerd, I ended up on a Falcons fan forum page because I had nothing better to do that afternoon. And surprisingly, I thought there was going to be a lot of Matt Ryan support. It is really split 50-50 out in Atlanta as far as there's people that they like Matt Ryan, and then there's people that are saying he's the problem. There's obviously people saying Ryan's not the problem, it's Shanahan. Then there's other people saying, no, it's Ryan and not Shanahan. So what about the idea if Matt Ryan ended up somehow out of Atlanta at the end of the year? I mean, I think
comes back to PA.
I don't think it matters who the head coach is here in Philadelphia. You bring the home, you bring him home, and you say, hey, come play home. He grew up as a Philadelphia sports fan. You get to be back at home. It's not going to matter who's the head coach here.
Yeah.
And now I feel a lot more comfortable. I don't care who you hire. You've actually got a quarterback.
I just want a quarterback that actually can, not get injured. And every time Bradford runs,
that's
I'm
Matt
like,
Ryan for you.
Let me tell you about Matt Ryan.
That might be more of a dream scenario though too.
I got another shot out, another Matt Ryan, and this is true. And I have the stats right here. Okay, my cousin John Watson's. All right, his brother. It's still his brother, but it's his half brother. His name is David Hand. He played for St. Joe's Prep. He has bragging rights over Matt Ryan from Penn Charter. He beat Matt Ryan in high school, his career, by 2 passing yards. There it is, right there.
This is insider information right here.
Dave Hand, St. Joe's Prep, beat Matt Ryan, Prep Charter. Matt Ryan had 1,048. Dave Hand from St. Joe's Prep had 1,052. You're looking at it right there. You want to bring him back? Huh?
We do Philadelphia Catholic League football and basketball here on ATVRadio.com. There you go. How about that for some insider information? Mr. Watson bringing it.
Matt Ryan does sound good, though.
Yeah, I know. Well,
that does sound good.
During the commercial break, we were throwing around names like, I know Ryan, was talking about, he really likes the idea of Sean McDermott coming in here. And
yeah, but here's the thing about that. If Carolina some way, somehow wins the Super Bowl, right?
Right.
Does he stay? Or does he leave?
No, I think if you offer him head coaching money, he would go anywhere. But his relationship.
I don't know. If you have a top defense and you're 14-1 and you win the Super Bowl,
he's leaving for a head coach.
No
doubt.
Everybody
no
does.
Doubt.
I don't know.
Everybody does.
No doubt. And he's taking his ring and polishing it and going to a head coach job.
Steve Spagnuolo left the Giants and went to St. Louis to take the head coaching position right after they upset the Patriots in that Super Bowl, right? But I think it's McDermott's relationship with Jeffrey Lurie that would end up ultimately bringing him in here to be the head coach.
And they're going to give McDermott 3 years too, right?
I'm going to put this out there right now, okay? Because Jeffrey Lurie talked about the reason he did this was because he wanted to get a head start on all the hot young candidates out there, all the hot young coordinators, the Adam Gase, the Kyle Shanahans, the Sean McDermotts, those names, okay? I don't know how – I don't really like that idea so much.
Yeah.
I'd be more comfortable with a Greg Schiano coming in here with the head coaching experience. And I know he didn't have success in Tampa. Newsflash. Raheem Morris didn't have success there. John Gruden's final 6 years, they weren't any good.
He took over Tony Dungy's team.
He did. The last time they had any good.
Yeah, Tony Dungy built that team.
The last time they had anybody that was stable was Tony Dungy.
Right.
So, I'm not going to necessarily say Schiano. I think, if anything, you could say Schiano maybe learned why he failed in a place like Tampa Bay and how to adjust off of that and say, okay, if I ever get that chance again at the NFL level,
I don't think
know what I'm going to do
I don't think McDermott's going to take a head coaching job if he wins the Super Bowl.
This is all I want, fellas.
He's going to leave that defense for a head coaching job that you don't even know who
Money
your quarterback's going to be.
Bullshit walks, Ralph.
I know that, but still.
Fellas, listen. All I want is this. Here is the Super Bowl blueprints. And I know earlier you were disagreeing with me a little bit, but Super Bowl blueprints, okay, is 2 things. It's called the Pittsburgh Steelers blueprints. All the Super Bowls they won, right? Run game, defense. Run game, defense.
Yeah.
Get the blueprints. That's what we want.
Well, I think that the majority of the names we've been throwing around, coincidentally enough, have been defensive names.
Yeah.
I talked about Schiano.
The Eagles have never been that ground and pound team.
No.
When Andy was here,
why we don't
throw the
win no
ball.
Super Bowl.
It was throw the ball 56 times and run the ball 20 times. When Chip Kelly here, throw the ball 63 times and run the ball 10 times.
I can agree to disagree with you, but we've never had a ground and pound game, or we've never won a Super Bowl. You want to play that argument? Okay,
we haven't.
I mean, you're not wrong, so it's it's true. The back to the coordinator thing, as I said during the break, the one coordinator, if we're talking about candidates without head coaching experience, the one guy I might be okay with is Darrell Bevel. And Tom Arnone has entered the building. I know I talked with him on the phone last night. Tom and Mike are going to be talking about this later on their show, Tom and Mike AM and the PM. Tom threw around a name with me last night, Josh McDaniels. See, I'd be more comfortable.
I think Brady made him.
I'd be more comfortable bringing McDaniels in than McDermott. The head coaching experience is at least there. And if, again, you failed out in one place, at least you know why you failed and you can at least adjust off of it. I don't want a wild card.
I don't think McDermott's leaving, though.
I just don't.
If they win the Super Bowl. I don't think he is.
Yeah, he is. For a head coaching job, he's gone.
I agree. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, money talks and bullshit walks, Ralph. Plain and simple. This has been the rundown on A2DRadio.com. Some fun stuff today. Obviously, a lot to talk about. The shenanigans all going on with Chip Kelly and what is now the mess up there in the Eagles.
They pulled the trigger
front
too
office.
soon.
Maybe that's the case. Let's hope at least they get somebody in here that we can feel like we're going in the right direction. We're brought to you by Gibson Mayer LLC, your certified public accountants, 301 Oxford Raleigh Road in Yardley, Pennsylvania. Call them at 215-369-3300.